Alright guys, welcome to the Division 3 of Serenity gaming match between Caeli and Arctic. I'm Kachka, I'm joined by Milky, and I'm excited tonight.
I'm really excited. Arctic currently undefeated in Division 3, so I'm really interested to see whether Caeli, and more specifically if Hunica, has anything to offer against this very strong roster.
Arctic, we talked about Division 1, the fact that Mouse Plays were undefeated, of course, until the Tuesday, I believe, but Arctic has kind of slipped under the radar, at least for me. They didn't lose a single game in Division 3 just yet. At the end of their 5th week, they are on 15 points, the maximum they can get. And, they will be trying to continue to go through more and more teams, but Caeli, as I said, it is an interesting team because they have many players with which they could contest. And Hunike, I am looking at that guy because he definitely loves to, pull out some interesting carry top laners.
Yeah, and that's, to be honest, is one of the interesting things with Division 3, because you have two teams who are undefeated at the minute with Arctic and Egadal Esport. But I think I was doing the calculations a moment ago, and if Arctic do get a 2-0 clean sweep, they will be guaranteed playoffs because you just need top 6 for playoffs.
Yeah, I think that is true. If Arctic do manage to get their 2-0 sweep, then they will be secured in the playoffs already at the 6th week out of 9. That is pretty good if you can get that today for yourself. Or actually, I'm just wondering, I'm not sure if that will be exactly mathematical. I do maths on stream.
Anyway.
Yeah,
it's too early to call. It's too early.
But they are in a pretty good spot because the last seed under the playoff bar is currently Pyongyang Warheads, who are 10 points behind them. So this is a team that definitely must overtake them if Arctic are to lose their playoffs, which, is pretty unlikely unless Arctic lose all of their remaining matches.
Yeah, and we're in week 6 of 9, so there's 4 games remaining, which is a maximum of 12 points that Pyongyang can get. So actually, considering that, I don't think it isn't guaranteed just yet. But I think next week it will be. But we are almost ready to get into picks and bans, I think. And again, one of the things we were discussing before we came live was the patch notes, the changes as we've entered 9.10. Don't forget, Yumi is out, but she cannot be played just yet in Serenity Gaming. But the Morgana Caitlyn is back into meta because the headshots from Caitlyn traps have been buffed.
Yeah, you've seen that duo being played so much already throughout all the different leagues out there. Not really MSI, they are playing on the old patches, but every other amateur league that I have had pleasure of watching since that patch had the Caitlyn Morgana as a high priority. And that line is absolutely disgusting. If you can make it work, once you land the bind and get it into the trap, which has now increased headshot damage, there aren't really that many lanes that can contest that. That being said, I think what I saw, something like a Thresh or a Playmaker support is a pretty good answer into that lane, so that's something to keep in mind.
Well, we have seen Smoked Sloth, who is the support for Arctic. He has played the Thresh, he has played the Morgana, so you do have that Caitlyn combo available, but Double Clap has played Sivir twice, which I kind of like, I think will work quite well into Caeli, just because Caeli, and more specifically Nick the Panda, he likes his hyper carries. He pulls out that Vayne, the Kai'Sa, the Xayah, and I think something like a Sivir should be able to match that in the late game if they can get their the bot lane going off without too many hiccups.
Just an information, we are waiting for one of the players of Arctic to show up, so this it might take us a while, it might not, we actually do not know, so yeah.
I think we're waiting for Double Clap. We've had a sub. It's not Molchar playing in the top lane. It's going to be North Flare. And actually, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting Smoked Sloth either. I think it's going to be Better Life. I don't know. We'll find out when we get into game. Roster changes is one of the pains of being a caster, isn't it?
Yeah, especially in a league like that where you don't really... Alright, I did manage to get the picture of the roster lock-in. Why didn't you look at that when you wrote the notes for this game, Milky SMH? So, yeah, it's Zwerg. We're waiting for Zwerg, their ball laner, and North Flare is the support, at least on the roster lock-in. So that is what we should be going by instead. So yeah, there technically aren't really any roster swaps. We are just late on the news.
Yeah, there we go. I've completely forgot to look at the roster lock page to get all of that. Just double check who everyone is. I always end up looking at the stats and just looking, okay, who's played more games? Right, it's gonna be that person. But no, still waiting for the final member of Arctic to join. But also, I want to take a look at the jungler for Arctic because I think he'll be extremely important. He played well in his first 2 games. I'm just gonna double check. Yeah, he has an average KDA ratio from 2 games of 19.5. Which is, it's just a little bit high. So,
Yeah.
watch out for him because he does play the Jarvan, and something that we have seen Arctic play in that mid lane is the Orianna. And if Jarvan can get off a decent Cataclysm, you could see quite a nice wombo combo coming through, and that could combine with something that they take into the top lane. Because I think it's entirely possible and very likely that Arctic will prioritize that Kennen. You don't want to see Hunika on a Kennen. He's really good on the Kennen. So just pick the Kennen yourself first. And then you've got yourself a really nice team fight, especially in that late game.
Yeah, right. All the players are now in the lobby, so we should be getting into the game fairly soon. Zverko's asleep, apparently. I mean, I'm just gonna buy that. So we should finally be getting, hopefully, into the draft fairly soon. You talked about Hunike's Cannon. The thing is, he can play so many different top lane carry champions that he can probably pull out something else if that is banned. He's definitely more of a jack of all trades than a one-trick when it comes to his champion pool. And that's always really interesting to follow, because he can pull out those, the more interesting stuff like the Kassadin top lane or anything else.
I wouldn't mind seeing a Karma top. Sion coming in. Karma. If there's a Sion, Karma top is quite juicy into it. In fact, I had a game yesterday where there was an Ornn top and we had a Karma top into it, which was just so nice. It was stupid how good Karma is into some tanks in the top lane. So, I mean, we'll have to see, but it looks like we should be heading into pick and bans in just a couple of seconds.
Yeah, the teams are in order. They are probably just getting themselves ready to do anything. Also, Hunike did actually message me before the game saying to expect some big plays. So, I mean, I'm just gonna throw it out on the stream, Hunike. You are now bound to perform, or you will face the wrath of the entire Serenity Gaming.
Yeah, he has to, or he will become another Serenity Gaming meme for all eternity. But we are all ready. So, but yeah, expect to see that. The Kennen, every time I see Hunika, I always my mind straight away goes to that Kennen. I don't know, every time I cast, I always just see it either getting banned or himself playing the Kennen. So expect that to be high priority. And because Caeli have first pick, it'll probably be banned away from Arctic. Will just prioritize ban that straight away.
Something I just want to also bring up into this spotlight before the game starts is where Caeli are sitting in the standings. They are currently 6th place in Division 3, which is technically the last playoff spot, but the gap between them and Pyongyang Warheads, who are 7th, is actually 5 points. Division 3 has pretty much separated itself, the top 6 and the bottom 4. So Caeli, even though, they aren't really in any danger of losing their playoffs just yet if they can find themselves the win today against Arctic. It will not only make sure that Arctic actually lose something, it will also make sure that they will have better seeding coming into those playoffs, and maybe even if we see Idil and Arctic drop some points, they could contest for the top 2.
Yeah, only 5 points separating Arctic at the top of the standings from Caeli, who are currently in 6th place, and with 4 games remaining of Springsplit, there is still, of course, a lot to play for. I mean, Lyra currently sitting on 13 points, and they were one of the favourites coming into Division 3, because you remember how strong Lyra were in Division 2 of Wintersplit. I mean, only losing to Tyne before playoffs came round, and now them and Roskilde are very, very close on points, so expect Lyra to come through a little bit in the final couple of games. I can't quite remember who they have to play against, but they will be coming through as we have entered picks and bans.
Yeah, there's going to be Caeli on this blue side, Arctic on the red side. So Caeli, they've got the privilege of the first pick. Caeli Morgana, a lane that maybe we could be seeing some more still. We'll have to see whether in Division 3 there is so much of a priority. Instead, Silas is going to be banned away.
Yeah, and Silas, something we've been seeing a lot of actually in MSI. So it is a strong pick. It seems to be back in the meta. So not a surprising ban, as Anivia also going to be banned away from Holberg. It is a champion that he can play. It's a champion he does play a fair bit of as well.
Yeah, so Anivia is going to be banned away now. Caeli thinking about her second ban, it is going to be a Kai'Sa, a pretty strong AD carry that you probably don't want to face, especially if the other player is capable of pulling it out.
You know what I think it is? I think they wanted to play Lucian, and they didn't want the Lucian Kai'Sa curse coming through.
Yeah.
And Lucian has been banned away as well. It's been banned away from Caeli, as J4 getting taken away from Boyd. So Caeli clearly checking up Arctic's previous game, saying, that's a strong Jarvan. We don't want to play against that. Ban.
Jarvan is strong in pretty much anyone's hands. As long as you can pull off your ganks well, then it is more likely to work than not. As Thresh is also taken away from Goran. So now Caeli, they've got the first pick, and Caeli is going to be locked in.
Okay, that's a nice pick, and of course that can be going either mid or top. Now, always a big thing with the Caeli, as there it is, Kennen. What did I tell you, Kachka? What did I tell you?
You told me something about Kennen,
yeah.
but I'm not entirely sure.
No, but the thing with Caeli obviously is a little bit weak early, but if she can get a bit of jungle prio and get a couple of kills, she can snowball really, really well. So that Kennen will be in the top lane. We're yet to see whether Caeli want to put Hunika on the Akali into the Kennen, or whether they want to take something else into that top lane.
In all honesty, I would expect Hunika to play Caeli just because Holberg is more of a mage player. And yeah, I mean, now you're looking at Xerath. I don't think Gorange plays Xerath. Therefore, I think that could be an Hunika Caeli.
Hunika did tell you that there were going to be big plays. So...
And he did drop a Caeli. I just didn't want to say it before the draft because teams sometimes stick around in the Twitch chat. And so, you know, before something is picked, spoiling it, it's... yeah, just don't.
Anyway, we're getting the Hecarim. Hecarim will be in that jungle. Obviously, I really like Hecarim. It's a champion that I do like. It's a champion that I can't play. Have never played him. But I always like Hecarim just because you move so quickly across the map. So you can be bot 1 second, you can be top another second. There is so much respect you have to give against an enemy Hecarim jungle. So many deep wards you have to place, as well as Vayne going to be banned away from Nick the Panda.
Yeah, Vayne is going to be banned. You talk about the Hecarim, but I also look at Boyle. He's got the Sejuani, a tank gang-heavy jungler. So, whereas you do need to be careful against the Hecarim, Sejuani can also just show up in your lane and lock you down. And especially when I'm looking at that mid lane, Holberg, he's got only one cleanse, and there's both Sejuani and Ahri that will try to lock you down.
Yeah, and this is something that I've just kind of noticed, and I'm expecting both teams to play towards this a little bit more. Is currently Caeli have completely drafted towards that kind of poke composition, you know, catch someone out and, you know, delete them. Whereas Arctic have got that team fight, you know, if Sejuani can land the ultimate, then Kennen comes in with the slicing maelstrom. It's a lot of damage that comes through, and if you can combine that, let's say you've got a Morgana who can ult as well, it's just so much damage, so much CC as well that will be coming through from the side of Arctic.
Yeah, and a lot of AD carries. In fact, 4 marksman bans in the second phase. Vayne, Jinx, Ezreal, Tristana, and now Sivir is taken for Arctic. So what really is there left for Nick the Panda to play? That's my question.
Well, you have still got the Xayah available. It is a champion he likes. Xayah and Rakan still out, but they're going to go for Varus. Now, I'm going to guess it's going to be a Braum. Tahm Kench not as viable. Otherwise, Varus Tahm Kench is very strong. So expect to see a Braum coming through, I think. The other thing, Sivir is very safe because of that spell shield, so you can't really go for, you know, a really aggressive as...
I mean, just locking yourself in Nautilus.
I completely forgot Nautilus is stupidly strong right now. So yes, of course, why was Nautilus not banned earlier? But yeah, Nautilus going to be taking Sivir, the champion that we have seen Arctic pick up twice so far. And while it may not... Sorry, while it is not going to be double clap on that Sivir, it's still their AD carry, this time Zerg on the Sivir. You got the Varus, you got the Nautilus in that bot lane. Arctic are just going to try to play as safe as possible with the Sivir Braum, try to scale up for that late game, whereas if you're the side of Caeli, you're going to look to try to get off those picks, try to get a Rage Blade as soon as possible onto Nick the Panda, so that he can really start scaling and doing as much damage as possible.
Yeah, I mean, what you said pretty much. If you're Nick the Panda, you want to get those items, and I really like the Nautilus pick. I mean, it has slipped surprisingly far down this draft, up to the 5th pick on the blue side. It's not something you tend to see for a pick that is as strong as that Nautilus, but maybe Arctic, they say, alright, we can just trust our bot lane to play safe. Sivir Braum is very hard, if not impossible, to lock down and kill, especially when North layer will go for that exhaust. But I mean, you give Gorange some playmaking capability, and you talk that Caeli, they are going for this poke and pick composition, and that bot lane just emphasizes the latter part even more.
Yeah, I mean, Varus does have the ultimate, you know, can just CC someone down. And I started playing Nautilus a couple of days ago, played it for the first time in ranked, hadn't done anything before. It's been like over a year since I've played Nautilus. It's so easy to land your dredge line. It's just, he's so easy to play. Like, it's so hard to do wrong things. He's got a shield, he's got CC, he's got 2 CCs, and combine that with Nick the Panda's ult, then you'll have, you know, Hunica pulling off damage. Holberg will be able to land off so many skill shots. Xerath, notoriously a champion that, you know, if you land, you know, loads of your skill shots, everyone seems to think that you're scripting. If you've got a Nautilus there, it's just that much easier to be landing your skill shots. So it just works with this whole kind of pick and delete composition that Caeli are going for. Whereas Arctic have gone even more for that whole teamfight composition. You have, you know, the Glacial Assault coming through from Sejuani combined with, oh god, what's the Braum ultimate called now?
Glacial Fissure.
Glacial Fissure, of course it is. So you have a lot of CC coming through. Combine that with Zerg in the backline, just getting off lots of ricochets. Will be going for that 100% crit most likely. Don't forget, Essence Reaver has been buffed as well. It's an extra 5 or 10 attack damage coming through, just to make it a more viable option for ADCs who are looking for that 100% crit rate.
And now, I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but I think it was Caeli and it was Holberg who played really well on the Xerath in Division 3. I am not entirely sure, but the point that I want to make is that Xerath as a champion, he's really good if you manage to get him ahead. He will pretty much win you the entire mid and late game, as long as you can protect him. And I Am Your Dad, he's playing a Hecarim, and Tavani's Ahri is not the easiest champion out there to gank. But I think if Caeli want to put some focus towards this middle lane, it is possible. Though, I think we are really doing injustice to that top lane of Caeli, because I think that is where we should actually have our eyes at.
Yeah, of course, Hunica, who can do so much for this Caeli lineup on those carries in the top lane. But again, I just want to go back to Holberg quickly, just to run you through some of his stats that he has in Division 3 at the minute. His Orianna has a 17 KDA ratio, his Talia has a 7, but then you look to his Anivia and his Zillion, and it's around 1 to 2, so he is a champion that, he's a champion, he is a player that if you can get him ahead, yes, he can snowball, he can carry the team, but he can also be that little bit volatile as well. So yeah, we should see I Am Your Dead in that mid lane a fair bit, but also watch out for him being present in the bot lane as well, because you have that Varus, you have that Nautilus that you want to get ahead and try to snowball against the Sivir.
But Milky, what about the top lane? We get an Caeli, an assassin, like, we are talking about a snowball. I think if you can get your assassin ahead, then that is the snowball you want to be going for.
True, it is, and I know I did mention right at the start of picks and bans that Akali is that kind of champion that if you can get a couple of early kills on, can snowball really well. But then again, you're playing against the Kennen. You're playing against Better Life on that Kennen, who has the Lightning Surge. He has ways of escaping ganks But then again, you have to combine that with the fact that Hecarim is so fast. He's got the Ghost. He hasn't gone for Predator. He's gone for Conqueror. But he's just so damn fast. So he can be everywhere on this map. He could be one of those junglers that you just think, how are you even farming? You're in every single lane. So, yeah, definitely watch out for that. Bot lane will be that little bit hard to gank because of the spell shield. But then again, there's a lot of... there's a lot of ways that Caeli can break that spell shield if I Am Your Dead is going there. So, I Am Your Dead has a lot of options. He can go pretty much anywhere. Whereas, I think if you are the side of Boyod, you will be focusing on that mid lane most likely. Just because Xerath doesn't have that much mobility and he's really easy to knock down if you are Sejuani.
Alright, and I believe we are going to be going into the game on this stream maybe in a couple of seconds. I'm not entirely sure just because of the stream delay, but I think the game has loaded, and so you guys should be updated on the action. There it is, we are on the Rift confirmed.
Yeah, and all members of Caeli gonna go for this cheeky little invade. Can Gorange land?
Oh, better life, he does see them. Gorange throws out the dredge line. That was close, but the lightning rush, as you said, just gives you so much movement speed to run away.
Yeah, and this means that Arctic are gonna go and invade that bot side jungle. As Caeli, are they gonna look for a second invade potential?
No, so here it is what I know. Yeah, that word that they just placed. So last Saturday, I think I played a few games with Gorange, including the SRG Battlefy Open, and you were playing with me. You remember him talking about that word, so maybe you can talk about that.
So, essentially what Gorange was explaining to us is the patch changes has resulted in Rift coming up later. What that means is you don't want to be prioritizing warding the pixel brush because there's no need to ward it. The jungler is not going to be going there, so you won't be getting any vision. It's going to be a pointless ward. If you ward around the raptors, you therefore get to see whether the jungler is going to his raptors or is going straight... Sorry, you get to see whether your jungler is going to raptors, going straight up to his topside jungle, or if he's going to Krugs. So it can give, your bot lane a bit of an advanced warning on whether they're going to get ganked or something like that.
And Arctic got a similar ward on the other side, so they will know that I Am Your Dead. He went into his from red buff into his raptors. That will give them some information. And overall, this early game, not a whole lot of action as expected. I would say the lanes aren't super volatile. You've got the escapes, and yeah.
Yeah, also one thing I want to point out, Tavani, going for that glacial augment, something you do see a fair bit of on the Ahri. Holberg picking up the cleanse as well, just giving a lot of respect to the charm, and of course a Boyod's ganks with the Sejuanis with that Winter's Wrath.
Yeah, I'm not really sure actually what to talk about. I think Zverg and North Flare in this ball lane, they are trying to get the early shove in. With those ricochets, it's pretty easy to just push the lane in. Holberg with the Xerath range advantage, able to keep the wave pushing towards Tavani, and a similar story this time for Better Life in the top lane. He has the range into a melee matchup, which means that Hunike will have to sit under his own tower.
Yeah, and it's one of those things when, again, it's what we mentioned in Picks and Bans. Caeli isn't the greatest champion early game. It's only when she hits 6 she can do stuff. So you do need to try to get kills off onto Hunika. And it looks like we're going to be having a jungle contest for Scuttle.
Yeah, Boyle is trying for that topside grab. Holberg comes in, misses the shocking orb, which means that there will be no follow-up as in the ball lane. Gorange tries to go in onto North Flare, connects with the dredge line. That's a half HP Braum. Boomerang Blade is thrown out, making the Panda eat some HP back, but overall that's a trade in favor of the ball lane of Caeli.
Yeah, and just going back to that jungle skirmish, just because Holberg had the wave pushed in, had that mid lane prior, was able to turn up, and if he had been able to land the shocking orb, that could have been a flash coming, that could have been a flash from Boyod. So unlucky there from the side of Caeli not to get more out of it. But again, we're back to just nice calm farming, only a 300 gold differential. Infernal Drake is the first Drake, so expect to see a lot of congestion there.
Currently, I'm your dead. Tried to go in for a gank, but Better Life was safely under his tower, which means that, I mean, you can't really gank this cannon, not without your level 6s. That does, though, give Hunike a lot of space to catch up on CS, and we already see him break a small lead. The wave will push into Better Life, so not sure how big that lead objectively is just yet, as Holberg in the mid lane is going to take some damage. That Glacial Augment is really effective at keeping you in place.
Yeah, and it just slows so much. It makes it so much easier to land the charm, and therefore, if you're Holberg, you have to give so much more respect to Tavani. And going back to the top lane, it's just so nice when you know your jungler's there, and you know the enemy knows your jungler's there, because you can do whatever you want. You can just be so aggressive, and there isn't anything the enemy can do about it. But Holberg, a bit low as Boyod, in just stealing some raptors.
Yeah, Holberg looking if he can maybe throw in some skill shots to make Boyod's life harder, but not really much he can do. Look at the vision that Arctic is setting up around this bot side jungle. You said it is an Infernal Drake. We could be seeing some early action, and with the severe push in this bot lane, we definitely see Arctic wanting to capitalize on it.
Yeah, and the reason why Holberg didn't try to, steal anything is he was already low on mana. If he had wasted any mana, he wouldn't be able to clear any of the CS in the mid lane. Tavani would have just stayed in mid, shoved in another wave, and Holberg would have been wouldn't have been able to do anything and would have lost loads of CS.
Yeah, and now Gorange is fishing in for a dredge line as I am your dead, sticking around in the ball lane. He connects onto North Flare, just forcing him to jump out. Holberg is going to have his recall interrupted by Boyod in this middle lane.
Yeah, and that's fantastic stuff because it means Tavani's going to be able to shove that lane in and possibly either rotate to the top or the bot lane, because it'll be a while before Holberg is able to return. But back in the bot lane, you're just able to see Arctic just constantly shoving in the wave against Nick the Panda, but very even on CS at the moment.
I'm your dead. He's just gonna take a big chunk. Tavani landed the charm. It is mid lane, just able to get a lot of damage in. That is the punishment that you have for having Holberg recall so late, partially thanks to Boyle just paying a visit.
And in the top lane, you've got Hunica has TP back into lane, so is a target for Tavani if he wants to rotate, but he's going to just stay in that mid lane for now. Infernal Drake has spawned, so waiting still to see first blood, any big plays, but Gorange looking for a dredge line.
Yeah, Gorange is just trying to play the pressure game, make sure to zone away North Flare, and Zvergaski now finds the Bronk. He's going to get stunned up with the concussive blows, just taking a bit of damage. Winter's Bite slowing him for goodbye. And this is the kind of trace that we will be seeing in this bot lane, I feel like, unless the junglers interfere, or at least until that level 6, there isn't really that much potential for kills to happen.
Yeah, and this is the thing, North Flare just going to sit in front of Zverg, take every single dredge line, heal back up, using, of course, the Resolve rune. I'm just going to double check that.
Holberg flashing in the middle lane, but that's a first blood, going to be picked up by Boyle. Good gank execution.
Yeah. And there we go, finally we get the first blood. It's a shame for the side of Arctic that it went onto Boyod instead of Tavani.
And now look at the ball lane. Northlander is going to get rooted up, flashes away. The Ignite is still taking him down, but the heal committed from Zverg means that he survives. And Arctic, they get a kill in the mid lane and they don't lose anything in the bot lane.
Yeah, and they have got two summoners out of that Arctic bot lane. They got the heal, and Caeli got two summoners out of the bot lane, the heal and the flash just for Gorange's Ignite.
Hold on, Hunike going ham in this top lane. He's gonna take so much damage with that sizing measure. One more auto attack will do it. He flashes in, but the tower will find him. It's a 1-for-1. But now the junglers, I remember they're trying to jump in onto Boyle. Arctic is sold over the wall, and that's all she wrote.
I'm not sure if that was a great idea from Hunica, because Better Life had already used the flash, so he could have just taken it as it was, kept the flash, and he would have had that available, for any potential later gank from Boyod. So I think he could have saved it, but then again, I understand why he went for it. 1-for-1 in the top lane, which is of course a good thing for Hunica on the Caeli.
I'm your dead. Boyle will find each other in the jungle. I'm your dead, so takes so much damage. Also the shadow is there, but Boyle flashes forward, picks up the kill. Holberg cannot even get the kill back. Flash forward over the wall, connects the charm. Is Tavani in the middle lane. He's gonna get slowed down by the Ignite. Down onto that Xerath. Holberg trying to run away, but Orb of Deception takes him down.
Absolutely fantastic played by Tavani. The flash charm to essentially secure everything. Knew Holberg didn't have flash available and was able just to poke him down consistently, using that glacial augment to great effect.
And you cannot really do that much if you are Holberg against it. Hunike, he's looking for even more trades. He's kiting around in his shroud, getting a lot of damage down. He's got that Bilgewater Catalyst as well. So he's doing pretty well when it comes to the items.
Yeah, and you build water cutlass, but then again, Better Life has a proto belt, so I think the item's slightly in favor of Better Life. I don't know why, it's 1-for-1, and in fact, Hunike has more CS, and they've both, I mean, Hunike's got 500 extra gold in the bank.
Cannon Klepto. There's your answer.
There we go. Okay, I missed that. Cheeky little pick up there from Better Life, and you know it has paid dividends. He's got the proto belt, so he's already pretty big. So watch out for those TPs into the side lane. But I'm your dead in the bot lane.
Oh, the trash line is Northward. He's just going to die. Nick the Panda picking up the kill. Good execution from Caeli. Hunike going in once again in the top lane with that perfect execution for himself. But Better Life goes golden. He pops down the static mesh, realizes a lot of damage, and Hunike is going to get outplayed by Better Life.
And guys, if you ever wanted to know why you don't pick a fight when you're behind
look at the river though, because Nick the Panda is running on HP, has to commit the heal. I am the that is going to drop to Zwerg. That's now a 3 versus 3 in this river. Arctic are looking for more. The Glacial Prison connects onto Goran. She has to flash out. Boyot gets away, but that's a double kill. Great boomerang play coming out from Zwerg.
Yeah, and Arctic slowly starting to just scale as right of the ancient.
Right of the Arcane.
Oh,
the
so
Zerath
close.
Ultimate. Just
So
call it
close.
the Zerath Ultimate.
Okay, right of the Arcane, not able to steal the Infernal Drake, which will go over to Arctic. So Arctic 7 against 2. They've got themselves a hefty 3k goal lead. They've got themselves Infernal Drake, and now they're going to be picking up a fair few turret platings in that bot lane.
And this game isn't looking that great if you are Caeli. You are falling behind in gold. You are pretty much falling behind in every single lane. Nick the Panda, yes, he's got the Ginsus, yes, he has the 1 kill, and he's not doing that badly in terms of CS, but if you look over at Zwerg, it just does not compare.
Yeah, and Zwerg has almost 2k gold to spend, so that's going to be an Infinity Edge, and maybe a Zeal as well coming through. So, yeah, the Rage Blade's not going to be enough to counter that, I'm afraid, because IE is just such a strong first item for Sivir. But in the top lane, just casual poke. Better Life has the ultimate available.
Oh my goodness, Hunike just eats a big chunk of HP. And the thing is, before you get your Gunblade, your Qs don't really heal you that much on an Caeli. So Hunike definitely has more sustained problems than he would want to have.
Yeah, and now it looks like Shelly will be going over as Tavani being really aggressive in the mid lane.
Oh, misses the charm onto Holberg, so he will be able to escape. He uses the Arcana Pulse onto the wave, just making sure to shove it out, but the orbs from Tavani just chung him low, 1/3 of his HP. Holberg, he's just trying to do his best to stay relevant in this mid lane, and I feel like that is the entire story for Caeli right now. They had this one good play in the bot lane, and Hunike got the 1-for-1 in the top lane, but that is about all they did this game.
And now the Rift Herald has been spawned, but in the top lane...
In the top lane, I am going in for that gank. He already threw down the Onslaught of Shadows. Hunike going in with that perfect execution. He's very low on HP. He needs to be careful. He misses the second cast, and Better Life is on a killing spree. He doesn't even die, and another gank backfires as the tier 1 in the mid lane is taken. The Herald even charges onto the second mid lane tower. It is going to chunk it to half health.
And that was so nicely played by Better Life. The flash followed by not the lightning rush, the shuriken strike, and was able to pick up that kill. Really nicely played. Unfortunate for Hunike. Just I can sense the frustration in Hunike trying to find that play when he's low, but in the mid lane.
Yeah, in the mid lane, Holberg is dead. That's actually good for Cleanse Flash over the wall, but the slows from the Hextech GLP will seal his fate. Holberg tried to go for an escape. He forces a bit more cooldowns, but in the end, Tavani still picks up the kill.
Yeah, and everything's just slowly starting to just snowball out of control for Caeli. I mean, you've got Sivir 2-0. You've got Tavani 2-0 and 3 already on her first item. Back in the top lane, though, Hunika can't do much. There's a massive wave for Better Life, so you can't exactly fight in that.
And he still doesn't have the Gunblade, the most important item for an Caeli to be relevant. And Better Life, he's got already the Proto Belt. And my question to you is, what is the way in which Caeli attempt to come back?
Well, it comes down to their composition. They've got, you know, a pick and delete. They need to be able to pick and delete. So it's going to come down to, you know, when Arctic start grouping up and someone's just a little bit out of that team, being able to find those picks. But again, I want to go back to Hunika because you mentioned the Hextech Gunblade. I think he needs MR more. He needs to get himself Mercury Treads because otherwise he's still going to get deleted by Better Life.
Yeah, that is a fair point. That cannon is going to be absolutely scary. And first items have been already long completed for the side of Arctic. We are only 15 minutes in this game. They already have managed to accrue a 5,000 gold lead. The items are really only matched by the carries, and even then we both agree that NIE is so much better than just the Ginsu's Rage Blade. The second Drake will be spawning shortly. This is a mountain. I'm your dead looking for a gank. He pops down the ghost. He has got the potential to try and go in. That is a depth charge connecting onto Zverk. Great fear as well as the bring back. Zverk has to though flash away. The teleport will be interrupted by Hunika in the top lane, but he might sacrifice his life for it as Better Life is going to run him down. Look at the bowling though, because Caeli aren't really winning there either. The health bars are dropping. Boyod on the killings with Tavani picking up the second one. Hullbreak slow. The chilling smite as well. Arcana Pulse is gonna do a fair bit of work. North Flare trying to jump forward, and Arctic, they just find 3 kills.
And they will be able to pick up this bot lane outer turret and go straight to that Mountain Drake. In fact, Boyod will start that straight away, and it's just so clean for Arctic, picking up 3 kills for nothing.
Yeah, and Hunika, he tried to interrupt the teleport. He was successful in doing so. And in all honesty, it would have looked much worse for Caeli if Better Life had joined that fight. But it still didn't pay off. They still cannot find these kills. Zverk is just so safe, and Better Life is going in for a solo kill. Hunika pops down the Shroud though, and he should be fine. But Arctic, they are making a statement in this game 1.
Yeah, and Caeli have tried to do exactly what, you know, you kind of highlighted a minute ago. You said, how do Caeli get back into this game? And I said they need to look for, you know, the pick and delete. So Caeli went and they tried to find the pick and delete. However, they forgot one thing. They're behind. They can't make those picks and deletes yet. They need to get more items. They need to have that little bit more strength. And it was a great just rotation from the side of Arctic just to completely counter that and win something that was looking entirely in Caeli's favor when that right of the Arcane came through. But in the top lane,
yeah, Caeli, they are still looking for their picks. They might have found North Flare. Dredgeline connects, Staggering Blow as well, but they saw the Spooky Ghost come out of Tevani. They know he is nearby. They know that Arctic are within collapsing distance, and Caeli will back off.
yeah, and this is the thing, they've got no vision in Arctic's jungle at all. They don't know where anyone is. They cannot risk going in for any engage because all of a sudden it could be a 5v3. But in the bot lane,
yeah, Better Life going in for that slicing Maelstrom, gets a bit of damage down to Hunika in the top lane though. We switch back as there is some action. Might of the Arcane not doing a lot. Better Life flashing in, unstoppable kill, 5-1-0 on this cannon.
yeah, and Hunika has now got the Mercury Treads. That's not enough though. He might even have to pick up a Hex Drinker. You can't really build that into anything, but get some MR because Better Life is absolutely huge right now.
He's just able to solo kill a Caeli in the side lane. But I mean, that is kind of what you would expect from a cannon that is so far ahead in the gold. That is a... Don't do maths on stream. That's 1,800 gold lead just on that one person. However, I know that he's looking for a kill. He really wants to get that shutdown for himself. And that is 800 gold cashed into the jungler of Caeli. So at least they do get that for themselves.
And in the mid lane, Tavani did get brought quite low from Holberg. Was able to land the shocking orb and got off a fair bit of damage. But Tavani was able to survive. So a good shutdown there from I'm Your Dead, and Better Life just getting that little bit too aggressive. But the Zhonya's Hourglass has come through. When Better Life picks up that Rabadon's, That's it. He's hit his 3-item power spike, as I like to think, on Kennen, but he's already super strong in a team fight with the Zhonya's.
I mean, talking about the power spike, let's not forget about Zerg on a Sivir, because Sivir is always
God.
a pick that you don't talk about in the early game, and for the right reason. She doesn't do a lot. But my man, when you have got 2 items at 20 minutes, and those are Infinity Edge and Static Shift, together with Boots Completed, by the way, you are going to dish out some serious damage.
And compare that to your enemy ADC's Rage Blade. Okay, and a Bilgewater Cutlass. It's a massive... It's just such a big difference, because Nick the Panda, obviously on the Virus, you're going for that on-hit rather than crit. But he hasn't got on-hit yet. He needs to get that bulk first, and Zerg is just going to be doing so much damage with the Ricochet crits.
Yeah, and you also have the double utility RE build with the AoE slows. This just looks really dire for Caeli, but I think what we said before holds true. As long, yeah, Holberg, he has to burn both his summoners, but the AoE slows, the dash forward, the ignite, Tavani is on a rampage.
And Tavani ults back out now. Baron is up, and Better Life is in that bot lane. No one is answering him at the minute. As soon as Caeli try to answer, expect Arctic to go straight for that Baron. Holberg up in 17 seconds, but he'd get absolutely deleted by Better Life. He's got no MR at all. Better Life secures the inner turret, and everything's falling for Caeli right now.
Yeah, they just cannot find anything. They are 0-5 in the turret, so Nicky trying to look for a trade. He's gonna get stunned out with a slicing mushroom. He goes gold and pops his stopwatch. And he is in that shroud, so he should be fine. But you just see how dominant Better Life is on that side lane.
Yeah, and Caeli have to send so many resources to deal with Better Life. It just makes it so easy for the rest of Arctic to pick up objectives on the other side of the map. And I think they're just going to go for a Baron here, or maybe just set up Vision. Better Life has the TP available, while Hunika has a bit of time left, so they do have that Baron priority. But I guess Arctic are just going to play this sensibly, just slowly push, get a few more objectives, and then rotate to Baron, because Caeli cannot take a Baron right now.
In all fairness, I just feel like Arctic, they need to stay in the jungle, place down the Vision, and wait for Caeli to come to them. Just make sure that Better Life is putting down pressure in this side lane, because I'm pretty sure you can win a 4 versus 5, unless you completely botch it if you are Arctic. And they are going to also get their second mountain, unless there will be some miraculous steal from Holberg, which I don't see coming. So you have that, yeah, you have that bonus Baron damage as well coming through.
Yeah, 2 mountains, and the next Drake is going to be a mountain, so Caeli could, sorry, not Caeli, Arctic could even just wait for that final mountain and then just instantly delete Baron with such a strong Sivir and a Kennen. And, I mean, they could just go for it anytime they want, really, and I don't think Caeli can answer, just because Better Life, even if there was a Baron steal, Better Life would pick up so much in the side lane.
I do have to agree with you. Caeli, though, they still didn't really find any turrets. I am dead. He's going to get charmed up and takes a chunk of damage.
So much damage.
Yeah. However, Caeli's base still is not broken. I would assume as soon as the Baron buff goes down, Arctic could probably even look to finish the game with where they are standing. But as long as Caeli hold on, as long as Arctic do not press that go button, they are just happy picking up whatever items they can, because even if they don't clearly win the late game, because I dare say it's going to be fairly close in those later stages, it's better than what they have right now.
However, in about 5 minutes, it's practically going to be GG for Caeli, just because if you take a look at what Better Life and Tavani are building, they've both got the first needlessly large rod to their Rabadons. That's going to be a massive power spike for Arctic in general, and they are just going to absolutely smash through Caeli when that happens. So watch out for about 28 minutes in, when they should have enough gold to buy that, just how strong they'll be.
Yeah, they're just taking away the jungle of Caeli, funnel some more gold into yourself, pick up those blue buffs, get some vision down, the steps towards securing a safe Baron. The only real criticism I can throw out is that it's 24 minutes and Arctic still haven't secured it, but I mean, as long as you don't lose it, I guess you can't be angry at the end of the day.
All they're doing, they're doing the perfect, as I like to call it, the jungle choke, where you just take control of the enemy jungle as...
Caeli, they're attempting to go in for a pick onto North Flare. They literally use everything. Yeah, have a look at the teleport from Better Life. He poses on this slicing Maelstrom. He might catch out Caeli, and he's looking to kill absolutely everyone. As 4 members of Caeli are dead. Hurricane teleports in vain, and that is a double kill for Zwerg. Arctic fight for it. They will be looking to go in for that base.
Yeah, and they can just crack the base right here, right now. They're going to push in that mid lane, and there's going to be nothing Hunica can do. 10 seconds until Gorange is back up. The Demolish is available, and that's going to be the inhibitor turret falling.
Yeah, Hunica trying to just watch pretty much as his base falls apart. Arctic find the fight, they find the inhibitor, they get a 12,000 goldie, they will be going for the Baron, and after that you have to feel it's the end.
Yeah, and I'm just going to take a quick look. 1,800 gold on Better Life available, 1,300 on the RE, and it's pretty much a Rabadon when this Baron will be secured. I'm your dead's there, he can't do anything.
No ultimate, no way of getting into the pit without being blown up immediately, and even then, you are 2 levels behind on the smite, so it is not a real 50-50 in your favor. And so Arctic, they just secured the Baron. No real opposition, no death caps yet. Better Life just gets a second large rod. Tevani opts into...
He needs another 200, and yeah, as you were mentioning, Tevani going for that Spellbinder.
Yeah, or he could also go, or he does pick up the Oblivion Orb, I believe, for just the extra penetrations. Make sure you heard a lot, because no one on Caeli, apart from Gorange and Hunica, and okay, the Merc Threats on I Am Your Dead, had any time for stacking up that MR.
Yeah, however, Nick the Panda has got his Blade of the Rune King, just needs that Runan's Hurricane, and he has then hit his Power Spike. I think we've got a while to wait for that, though, so... Yeah,
I don't know if we do have that while to wait, as Hunica might get collapsed on by Boyle. He goes down into the Shroud. He manages to kite around pretty well around the CC. Nice escape.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm going to give that was really nicely played from Arctic, because they could have stood on the other side of the Glacial Shroud, but they respected Caeli. They knew that they were ahead, but they respected. They said, we don't know where you all are. You could all collapse on us. We'll wait. We don't need to just kill Hunica right here.
Yeah, they will just take the tower with the whole minion when they're going down for the inhib. The Spooky Ghosts come out, they slow down Gorange, the second inhibitor falls, and Arctic, they are looking to make it very, very slow. Shocking Orb onto Boyle, but you just simply deal no damage to this man.
Yeah, and North Flare just straight away turns up as Gorange being brought so low.
400 HP, and he has to go back to his base right off the Arcane, coming out. Holberg hoping to maybe deter Arctic just for a little bit. He throws down the Arcane Pulses. Boyle jumps on him with that Winter's Wrath. He takes a big chunk of damages. Actually, the Slicing Maelstrom has been down already. Better Life is low on HP. Only came the backside of that fight. He's looking to back the kills. He's gonna get the first one. He goes back in the shot. He's jumping onto Boyle. Caeli! They are turning this fight around, but Tevani and Zwerg both are still alive. They pick up 4 kills. They traded for 1. They will be happy with what they get, but they are looking for more. Hunica still on the chase. He slows down Tevani and dodges from the charm of deception. Caeli, they find a great fight in their base.
Yeah, 3-4-1 for the side of Caeli, but at what cost? So much has been broken of their base, and I mean, they find the kill, and to be fair, it was down to Boyle just being that little bit too aggressive, going in before the rest of his team was ready to collapse. And I mean, Arctic are doing everything they've had to do practically perfectly, staying as a team because they have that team comp. They're going to reset one more time. You're going to see the Moralen Nomicon coming through from Tevani. The Rabadon's Death Cap has been completed from Better Life. He's got 476 AP. He is absolutely disgusting. And they're just going to take the Mountain Drake and I guess just go for a slow choke and end.
That's all Arctic really have to do at this point. I can't imagine them lose another fight. The reason why they lost is because I believe Better Life. He just popped the ultimate outside of that fight. Oh, Nick the Panda, he's just gonna die. Tavani with the pick is godlike. Hits level 16 off the top of that as well. And now Caeli, they're without their AD carry.
Yeah, and I'm just looking at Nick the Panda. He's bought a Negatron's cloak, so I'm not...
That's a Wit's End.
Is it Wit's End? Oh yes, of course, Wit's End. How did I forget that on hit requires Wit's End? Anyway, but it's a 5v4 at the base. There's no ADC, and Arctic just gonna take the final inhibitor and just completely siege the rest, the Nexus turrets.
Yeah, I do believe that the mid lane will be responding soon as there is the engage. The slicing
Oh
measure
my
this
God.
time is big from Better Life with the K. Trying to go in with the perfect execution, throws down the shroud. He engages, but he just doesn't have what it takes to save this game. He's going to fall down. Nick the Panda has finally respawned, but Arctic with the 3 kills, with the 3 inhibitors, 3 mountain dragons to their name. And at 30 minutes, they will be looking to knock down the Nexus towers. Slowly but surely taking this win. They are going to sacrifice North Flare, but the minions, they are just too much for Nick the Panda to cope with. He's going to get a shutdown back onto Tavani, but the Nexus is exposed and Arctic take the game 1 over Caeli.
Yeah, remember I said wait for about 28 minutes when Better Life gets that Rabadons. It came at 29 minutes, but it was huge. And once that Rabadons came through, there was absolutely nothing Caeli could do for when Better Life just came with a flash and the Slicing Maelstrom to end the game.
Yeah, as much as that, and it was a pretty clean victory, I do have to say, from the side of Arctic. They just got the early leads, they carried them home, and I think they are proving why they are currently sitting undefeated in this Division 3.
Yeah, it was a masterclass from Arctic. I think they made one mistake when they slightly overstayed with their first base siege, but aside from that, they picked the team fight comp. They played it perfectly, and they did what they needed to do. So, you know, 9 out of 10 for Arctic.
Yeah, and I don't think there is too much more to be said. So we'll throw it over to the short break before coming back for a game 2 to see if Caeli can take us to the game 3 or if Arctic will just continue going through this Division 3. So we will see you right back.
Again, you want a dose of this right now it's KDA. I'm a goddess with a blaze. 소리처럼 나 이름 잊지 못하게 loud 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 loud. I could take you to the top. 절대 멈추지 못해. 내가 끝내주는 bag yeah yeah. When I started talk that oh you know how to react. I'm a picture perfect face with the wild in my veins. You can hear it in my growl 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 growl. So keep your eyes on me now. 무엇을 보든 좋아해. 모습 매직 단 한 번에 내가 잡아 절대 기죽지 않지 펴펴 네가 뭘 알아 견딜 수 없어 원해도 원하는 게 얼굴에 보여 I'm troubling you running it I'm so cold when I move that way you gon' be so blown I'm the realest in the game said I'm on fire with the blade you're a copy in my name ringing in your head like whoa so keep your eyes on me now 무엇을 보던 좋아할 거야 we so tough let's get it show you out can you feel the rush now ain't nobody bringing us down 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 they could try but we gonna wear the crown you could go another round 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 wish you luck but you're not bringing us down we go hard till we get it we go hard we so in it we pop stars only winning winning now ain't nobody bringing us down 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 Oh, 난 멈추지 않아. Oh, oh, we go hard. Oh, oh, we pop stars. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. They could try, but we gonna wear the crown. You could go another round, 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 round. Wish you luck, but you're not bringing us down. We go hard, till we get it, we go hard. We so in it, we pop stars. Only winning, winning now. Ain't nobody bringing us down, 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 down. The night beckons while you dream. A life never lives in peace. As you stand upon the edge, woven by a single thread, and fate may fall down upon you, while the devil is knocking right at your door. So are you restless? Each night you hear the drums roar. Awaken, awaken, the voice begins to call you while you hunger. A taste of destiny, a search of
Welcome back, everyone, after the break. After Arctic got a convincing game one, I'm gonna leave it at that. Caeli now, they will be looking to take us into a game 3 and hopefully snatch some points for themselves.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Caeli planned to answer what was almost a steamroll of a game 1. So expect to see probably some spicy stuff in picks and bans.
Yeah, hopefully that will be good. I'm also wondering if you want to ban away the cannon or pick it for yourself if you are Caeli, because Better Life, he had a pretty good performance, and even though Huneke was, I mean, from what he told me before game, I would assume he was pretty confident he's a Caeli. It just didn't really turn out as well as he would hope.
Yeah, I think Caeli have to ban the cannon just because Arctic have that first pick, and most likely they will be first picking the cannon, so expect that to be banned straight away. We might see Huneke might go for that Caeli again in the top lane. I don't know, Better Life might try to play something else super aggressive. Maybe we'll see something like a Vladimir, maybe a Rise, a Jace, something that can, you know, scale really well and just completely broken.
Yeah, it could happen. However, I did have to ask you a question. What changes to the draft overall would you expect Caeli to make for this game 2 and why?
Thing is, I don't think there was anything wrong with the draft, with their draft. I mean, they went for, you know, a pick and delete. Their issue was none of their lanes won to be able to get off the pick and delete. So I feel like if they wanted to go for something like that Nautilus in the bot lane, they should have picked something aggressive like the buffed Caitlyn. Because again, the Caitlyn traps would work with the Nautilus dredge line. They could have picked something else aggressive, maybe a Draven. I don't think Draven is exactly a meta, but he's still really strong early. So I think they could have been a bit more aggressive in that bot lane, but I think it'd be better if they just went for a kind of super late game team, super late game comp. Try to play nice and safe in the early game, scale to the late game, and then try to take the fight to Arctic.
Alright, teams are in the lobby. They are still not, or I believe Caeli are still not just ready yet, so we will be waiting for them to confirm and take us into that champion select. The sides though have swapped. Now it is Arctic on this blue side and Caeli will be sitting on the red side. So Arctic, they now have the privilege of the first pick, and with so many champions doing well last time for them, I don't really even know what you want to ban away if you are Caeli or what you will try to counter.
Well, the Kennen has to be banned, and I think maybe the Ahri has to be banned as well. But the thing is, Arctic just have a pretty decent champion pool, so you do have to respect pretty much everything. I mean, you have to respect the Cael slash the Cael and Irelia in the top lane. You have to, of course, respect that Sivir. So I think we might be seeing a Sivir ban coming through as well. And I think the Morgana Caitlyn has to be respected. We mentioned in the pre-show the fact that Caitlyn's stronger, so therefore Caitlyn Morgana or Caitlyn Thresh is definitely a thing. So expect that to be focused. Also, Nautilus is something we overlooked as we entered picks and bans, and I think it's something that Caeli, sorry, not Caeli, I think it's something that Arctic may have overlooked. So expect to see that being a high priority pick as well.
Yeah, and if Arctic leave it open, then I would just expect Caeli to lock it in, because Gorge had a, pretty good performance considering how far behind his team was. He was looking for those plays in the ball lane. He was able to set up quite a few of them in the end, and that champion, yeah, it's just so strong in this meta right now that you just don't want to play against it, no matter who you are facing. I think we can all agree it's much nicer to not be against it then.
I think if there is a Nautilus, a good kind of counter going into that. I mean, of course, Morgana is just kind of messes up any kind of engage support, but the other champion that you could go for is Galio, just because Galio works really nicely into any engage support. Anytime that they try to engage, you get off the dash, you get off the knock up, you get off the taunt. It's a lot of damage that can come through, so you do have to respect a Galio support if you are an engage support, like let's say a Leona, a Thresh, an Alistair.
Alright, we're just waiting. Still waiting. I'm on time.
How many times can we say that before they actually start? But
I'm not sure, a lot. I have said it so many times in certain games that it actually is. Sometimes I say we're waiting more than saying some actual interesting stuff in between the games, so yeah.
I think we need to get a chant like, why are we waiting? Okay, but no, anyway, I am really interested to see how this top lane is going to go, because, we have mentioned that, Hunika is that kind of carry for Caeli. He is the champion. I keep saying Hunika is a champion. Hunika is that player who can carry Caeli alongside Nick the Panda. And, Better Life had the better life in the last game. So I am looking to see how they'll play around this top lane, as Anivia going to be that first ban.
Yeah, Anivia once again taken off from Holberg. It is one of his better champions, but also one of the safest mid laners that a control mage player can pick. So yeah, you probably don't want to be facing that. Silas, the same bans so far coming through from both the teams.
Yeah, also I was thinking Holberg could maybe pick something like a Lissandra. Haven't seen Lissandra's around at the minute, but again, it is that safe kind of pick that you can play that just denies everything. Maybe even something, I wouldn't mind seeing something hyper-aggressive. Maybe take something like a Zed and, leave your AP going over into that top lane.
Yeah, I mean, could very much happen. Thresh ban, Kai'Sa. Alright, those are literally the same bans. Now, Arctic ban
Where
Lucian.
is the Kennen ban?
I mean, maybe Caeli decided, alright, it wasn't the Kennen, it was how we played around that. So Arctic's
it's
team
exactly
with
the same, yeah.
So far, yeah. What was the last ban from Caeli? I don't quite remember.
It was a
it the
Jarvan.
Jarvan? Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
it
the
was a
Jarvan.
Jarvan.
So they are running back the bans, which is interesting, but that doesn't always mean that there won't be some changes. Maybe they just decide, right, the bans are there for a reason. Those are the champions we don't want to play against. Everything else we can kind of deal with. So the Ahri is going to be picked up. Tivani had a really good performance when it comes to just, getting the picks, setting the kills early on, getting those utility items, and just being a big nuisance to Caeli.
I feel like Arctic are baiting out the Kennen. Like, they've shown how strong their Kennen was, and they're saying, Hunika, bring out your Kennen. I think that they've got a secret answer as Caitlyn going to be locked in. So, a Morgana now?
Could be. Yeah, Caeli Morgana.
Yeah.
That ball lane is so annoying, and now with Thresh gone, that's one of the, at least in my opinion, one of the more interesting counters, because as soon as either Caeli or Morgana try to step forward, you just hook one of them, and there's only one Black Shield, but you've got the Caeli and Morgana, but you give over the 3 champions that Arctic did so well on last time.
Exact same Arctic, top side of that map, mid lane, top lane, and jungle, all identical. And I'm just going to point out, Civ is Civ is still available as well, so we could be seeing that coming through as well as a Braum as Maokai. Okay, interesting.
Is it Hunike playing? That's my question. I mean,
did Better Life beat Hunika so hard that Hunika's too scared to play an aggressive champion now?
I mean, I don't think the latter is true, but I think the fact that Caeli as a team decided, alright, we're just gonna play a tank in the top lane could be a reasonable thing. When you have Nick the Panda on a Caeli, you are probably going to put Holberg on a control mage that will still do a lot in the late game team fights. So just getting yourself a front line into the top side, even if it's not something that Hunike really likes to play, it still makes sense. It still makes sense team-wise.
Yeah, and it looks like we're gonna get, the ADC bans that we saw last time around in the second ban phase. Rek'Sai being banned away. Okay, obviously Rek'Sai is one of those champions that is really aggressive in that early laning phase. Falls off a lot, but Braum and Civ are going to be banned. So this time Caeli giving a lot of respect to Zerg and Northlane, but you could still see some really aggressive stuff coming out in that bot lane.
Yeah, the Rek'Sai is going to be off the table by Arctic. They are focusing towards that jungle. I'm not sure if Maokai jungle is still legitimate, so I'm not gonna make my opinion on that. Karthus is also going to be removed, so a lot of carry junglers. Surprisingly, Hecarim is still open. If Caeli decide they want to go for that, then it could be a pick that will provide a lot of solid engage as well as some frontline into their composition. But where would Aatrox go?
Mid.
I don't think Holberg plays Aatrox.
I guess he plays Lux. Okay, Lux in the mid lane, so we're getting a fair bit of AP burst at the minute. Yes, see, I said give us something aggressive in the mid lane.
Alright, well, but that would be Yasuo bot lane. If anything.
That's
at least
true.
in my opinion.
Yeah,
because
no,
I don't think Arya or Ken in the bot lane make a lot of sense. And yeah, it will be an Ezreal. Melky, don't get debated by the teams. They really like to flash some champions, but that doesn't mean they will pick him.
See, I'm not getting debated. I'm increasing the suspense for the viewers. That's
okay.
Oh,
Is that what we're calling it?
Why Nautilus?
Why not? Explain.
Okay, because so you've got Caitlyn Morgana in the bot lane, which is arguably one of the strongest lanes available. Then you've got Zerg who picks the Ezreal. Now, I 100% agree with this pick. I think it's a really good pick just because of the maneuverability. It means that even if Morgana was to try to land a Dark Binding, you can use the Arcane Shift to get out. I would therefore have liked to see something kind of safe that works with Ezreal. Any ADC who plays Ezreal knows that the best support with Ezreal is an AP support. Okay, sorry, scratch that. Is a poke support, because Nautilus is technically AP. When you have an Ezreal, you want to have something like a Karma. You want to have something, I mean, Lux works. Janna, Soraka. Okay, Janna, Soraka aren't great at the minute. Neither is Karma, but I don't know. It makes more sense to me than a Nautilus. Arctic will probably make it work anyway, but...
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with my theory crafting right here. Once again, everything I say I don't know for sure. It's just me theorizing, so don't flame me. But whenever you land the binding, Nick the Panda will be forced to come forward to set the trap because Ezreal Nautilus will get pushed in. There's absolutely no way that they
Yeah.
get to shove this lane out unless they decide not to give leash. Then maybe for the first two waves they won't get pushed in under their tower. But Nick the Panda and Goran should be permanently sitting under that tower and just poke them to death. So once that binding lands, Nick the Panda will be forced to come forward. Therefore, as Northler, you just move yourself forward, wait for Gorange to use the black shield and go for the other target. You are under the tower, you are going to win that trade. And so what it means is that that combo cannot work as well as you want it to, because if you do go for the punish, you are risking dying in this lane, or at the very least burning quite a few of your summoners.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if they are shoving the wave, there's going to be a lot of minions under turret. Also, if Goran up binding, to put down a trap, but he's not going to go and put down a trap if they can get hooked. He's just not going to do that.
I've seen that being done in Division 1, I think.
What? Like, the other thing is, if they play it right, let's say Nick the Panda walks forward, right? All Gorange has to do is stand behind Nick the Panda and Black Shield Nick the Panda. Because if Northflare wants to hook and Gorange is sitting behind Nick the Panda, he's only got one target available, who would be that Black Shielded target. Combine that with, the amount of minions that will be around the turret. I mean, I would like to see them try it, but I think it'd only work if Caeli completely misplay it.
Alright, well, I'm just gonna go with your version. However, we spent a lot of time looking at this bot lane. Let's maybe look at the other side of the map, because Hunike is on a tank. He's going to try to beat Better Life, but by not beating him, by just staying absolutely even in that lane, which is actually pretty good if you look at the entire composition. Just having that front line for the Caeli and for the Lax to throw in the long range poke, it's going to work pretty well for Caeli if they do not fall behind.
Yeah, I'm interested to see Holberg's runes, whether we'll get a Dark Harvest coming through or something more traditional like the Arcane Comet. Again, I feel like Lux is a really interesting pickup. I guess it does work into Airy because Airy Ari doesn't have the most consistent poke available, so Holberg will be able to poke down, has the cleanse available as well once again playing into the exact same mid lane jungle composition. So yeah, I think it will be interesting to see how that mid lane unfolds. Top lane is going to be entirely in Better Life's favor. Hunika will probably be sitting under turret, CSing, and if Better Life turret dives, he'll kill him, but otherwise it's going to be all in Kennen's favor.
Alright, as the spectator delay is running out and we will be going over to the loading screen soon, I maybe want to take a look at the junglers, Boyle and I Am Your Dead. Boyle still on a Sejuani. He was able to have a few successful ganks with his ultimate and with his presence, but now I Am Your Dead. He's playing a Nocturne, a champion that you absolutely must make something happen when you hit level 6, so where would you expect him to make those plays?
You wouldn't go top because by the time you have your level 6, Better Life will have 6, and you don't want to be engaged. You don't want to be going on to Better Life's Kennen. Mid lane. Sorry, not mid lane, bot lane. If Gorange has landed that Dark Binding, expect to instantly see the Paranoia come through. I think that's the best opportunity. They'll probably go on to North Flare. That'd be my guessing, unless Arctic are really pushed forward in the bot lane, then they can go for Sverg. They could go for Tivani, but again, with the ultimate available, the glacial,
Prison?
No.
Just call it
Tivani rune. The blue thing.
Glacial Augment.
Yes, I don't know why I forgot that. That's really annoying. Because of the Glacial Augment and of course the ultimate, it's going to be still a little bit difficult to gank onto Tivani, because as soon as that Paranoia comes through, and I Am Your Dead commits to Tavani, Tavani will literally just ult away. It's as simple as that.
Alright, well, Caeli, they are trying to go in for the invade, probably place down that ward that we talked about early on. Yeah, that's exactly what is going to happen. They aren't really looking to contest, they just throw down that Raptor ward to make sure they know where Boyot will be going, so that I Am Your Dead can probably plan around where he wants to take camps, how he wants to move around the map, and just how to use that Nocturne to its most efficiency. Because the problem with Nocturne is that when you don't see it being used properly, it just becomes kind of useless.
And Better Life already got the 10 gold from poking down Hunike. Once again, has that kleptomancy. Fleet footwork on the side of Nick the Panda, and Holberg decided against going for that Dark Harvest in favor of the more traditional Arcane Comet.
Yeah, now thinking about that, that Kleptomancy is going to be so big for Better Life, because before Hunike was a Caeli, something that you could reasonably expect to dish out damage in return if you got too close. Now he's playing Maokai, which I guess can engage, and if I Am Your Dead is around the top lane, then you need to be careful, but otherwise you can just freely poke him.
I think it's time for a prediction game. At what minute do you think Better Life will get his Proto Belt?
7? I don't know, depends how...
Item.
If he decides to rush it, I can see it. I don't think it's likely, but it could happen. However, look at what's happening in the jungle, because Boyot manages to steal away I Am Your Dead's red buff, and now that Nocturne is gonna be in a tough spot.
Yeah, and we might be seeing once again that mid lane rotation. Remember, the exact same thing happened in game 1, so almost a carbon copy, pretty much same champions with the exception of the bot lane for Arctic. So we will have to see how this develops, but I'm Dead sitting around that top lane now.
Yeah, Hunike, he's gonna lose half of his HP, takes a bit of damage in that trade, but there is the Twisted Advance. He still has got the Bramble Smash and brings back Better Life, and First Blood picked up by Hunike.
Good job from Hunike, getting burned down as well, getting a little bit low, but Better Life getting a taste of death, let's say. But Tavani now in the mid lane.
Lands the charm onto Holberg, gets a lot of damage as Cleanse has been burned, the light binding just to get a bit of damage down onto Tavani. In return, this game looking a bit better for Caeli in this early game.
Watch out for the flash charm. It was a really late cleanse from Holberg, I feel. But, I mean, Tavani just going to shove this wave, and Holberg's going to have to be very, very careful here.
Time's up.
So far in the bot lane, Nick the Panda just pushing the wave into Zwerg, not really getting a lot of CS advantages just yet. In the top lane, Hunike, he definitely likes the fact that he managed to get that first blood kill, just gets himself a no magic mantle and a ruby crystal, which will help him just survive that cannon lane.
Yeah, so in fact, considering that, because game 1 it was against Caeli, he could go for that Proto Belt. This game, he might be going for something more like, you know, a straight-up Oblivion Orb, or going into... I think he might just pick up an Oblivion Orb quite early.
Yeah, I think that is likely to happen. Hunike going in for a trade. That Maokai has quite a lot of sustain, yeah, but the minion creeps together with Better Life. They just mean that Hunike loses half of his health in return. You really have to watch that top lane, even though it is a Maokai. I think Better Life still has the opportunity to find the kill if Hunike is not careful enough.
Yeah, and right now we're going to see Holberg rotate up. Okay, he's just going to put down a ward in the Pixel Brush. But here's the big issue for Holberg. And this is why I don't like Lux in the mid lane. She is so mana hungry, and it hasn't got her Lost Chapter yet, but she uses so much mana and requires so much more mana to do the same amount of damage to minions that Ari could do with like half the mana. So expect a lot of backs to be needed and Tavani to be able to push that mid wave in.
Now Boyot sticking around this bot side, he will be spotted on a ward, but that means that Nick the Panda and Gorange, they need to be playing a bit more defensively. Gorange just stopping the recall with a cheeky Tormented Soil will waste some of Boyot's time.
Yeah, and we're still yet to see anything else happen after that first blood. And despite first blood going over mid
And
lane,
Holberg is charmed, and the Spirit Rush has been already used by Tavani. The Prismatic Barrier just making sure to soak up some damage in the end. Holberg does not die. But there's the flash forward, the Ignite flash away from Holberg. It should
one more
be
tick.
enough. The last tick, it won't do it.
and he just didn't have that charm available, and he went for it straight away rather than giving Holberg some time to, you know, kind of anticipate it. But almost got that to work. But in the top lane, I Am Your Dead is looking for a second gank.
He was spotted on the ward when sitting in the tribush earlier, so Better Life definitely aware of it being as a possibility of it happening. He's got the flash, he's got the slicing maelstrom, so unlikely for that gank to work at least before I Am Your Dead hits his level 6 paranoia's no Boyod. He's looking for Holberg in the middle lane. There's no flash, there isn't any cleanse, and Tavani just gets the kill with that Orb of Deception.
And I Am Your Dead not going to rotate over to Boyod. He can't anyway. Tavani being very clever, moving straight over to Boyod so that he can't get caught out by I Am Your Dead. But really nicely played from Boyod. Still not 6 yet, but 1 kill for 1 now.
And that kill goes over to the Ahri, and we saw what Tavani could do once he got his Hextech GLP and the Twin Shadows. As now I Am Your Dead, he went over the wall, he will be safe for now. The mid lane CS discrepancy though, I mean top lane as well for Better Life, but that is something we anticipated a bit more. But Tavani, 16 CS ahead in an Ahri against Lux matchup.
And I think about 10 of that came down to Holberg running out of mana early on and forced to back when there was a massive wave at his turret, and there was just not much he could do about it really. And yeah, as you mentioned, we kind of expected that discrepancy in the top lane. And oh
yeah, there's the paranoia, the stunning make sure pop down, but look at all the damage that Caeli has. Unike gets another kill, and I Am Your Dead, he gets his level 6, he uses it to gank this top lane, and something we didn't talk about is how effective Maokai setups are.
yeah, the CC from Hunike flashed beforehand as well, just to gap close and get the CC off on Better Life, and then it was all down to I Am Your Dead. Had the Conqueror available, but jungle battle.
Well, just dashes over the wall and he should be fine, but that Nocturne, it's gonna get scary. It would be good if it would be I Am Your Dead picking up the kills, but I don't think at this point it matters too much. Despite all those discrepancies, Caeli, they are now even in gold.
And yeah, as you said, even in gold, first Drake is going to be a mountain, and Caeli have the priority for that. So things starting to look better for Caeli than they did in game 1.
Yeah, Goran, she hits the binding onto the cannon creep, a bit unfortunate. But Zwerg and North Flare, they're just farming up under the tower. They're doing what they need to do. Oh, that's the binding into the final spark. Just a bit of poke onto Tavani. I Am Your Dead was seen on the ward. But still a good punish from Holberg.
Yeah, again, Holberg has no mana. So even though Tavani is lower, he can just abuse this mid lane as much as he wants. But I Am Your Dead gonna back in that top lane, as Tavani gonna cancel the recall from Holberg.
Yeah, the paranoia should be available in a couple dozen seconds for I Am Your Dead, so definitely watch out. Maybe for the top lane. Better Life still has got the flash, but if you can lock him down fast enough, then we could be seeing another repeat of that same play.
Yeah, again, I Am Your Dead can't do much in the bot lane just because Zwerg and Northflat are being pushed back so much. So his only targets are in that mid lane and the top lane. However, he should still turn up bot just so that they have that Mountain Drake priority.
And something that we usually see from a Caeli Morgan lane is that they are often able to get a lot of plates and a lot of tower pressure. However, this time it's very good North Flare. They were playing pretty impressively. They don't lose a single plating. They aren't really that far behind in CS. Now Zwerg even gets to shove a whole wave underneath the Pana's tower, and he's just bound to use some of those creeps.
Yeah. CS
oh, I Am Your Dead. I don't think he saw them in that brush. He's gonna get collapsed upon the Ignite is down. He flashes away. He might survive. Will the last tick be enough? No, it won't. But it definitely was close.
Yeah, Glacial Prison not... Well, Glacial Prison used straight away. And Boyer just going to steal some of that CS. But going back down to the bot lane, CS very, very even between both ADCs. But crucially, Zwerg has the Kleptomancy, so actually has more gold than his ADC counterpart. So he's got his Manu Mane, while Nick the Panda yet to pick up that IE.
He has got a bit of AD to his name, but as you said, still not the complete item. The Dragon now will be started, Better Life using the teleport to join up in the top lane. Hunike just saving his, looking for some places. I mean, Maokai in teamfights is just infinitely better than Maokai in a side lane, as he could get stunned up with that Mark of the Storm passive, but Better Life decides to drop the chase.
Now somehow the Drake Prio has gone over to Arctic, and they're going to secure first Drake. So I think we do have to point the finger to I'm Your Dead a little bit for not, you know, prioritizing the Drake as much. He went top a fair bit, but he still had time to take that Drake when Nick the Panda and Gorange were shoving in that bot lane.
And so far it is Zwerg and Northflare with that, you know, priority. However, Paranoia now down, and that's so much damage onto Zwerg, but they're turning onto Northflare. Nick the Panda is gonna get the kill, but a great true-shot barrage to equalize the score 1-1.
And the Soul Shackles just couldn't quite land onto Zwerg. If it had come through about half a second earlier, it would have been fine. Now Boyard has the Glacial Prison.
And he's looking for a gank in this bot lane. Goran just slowed down, he throws down the binding. But Zwerg with the Mystic Shot gets the kill. Nick the Panda, he's still alive, but the Spirit Rush from Tevani in the bot lane is gonna pick it up. And Arctic, they are finding those gold leads despite Caeli having a better start. They find themselves now 2,000 gold behind.
Yeah, and Holberg went top, Tevani went bot. Holberg couldn't do anything top because Better Life is doing such a good job of freezing those waves. And they just came down to a slightly better mid-rotation. I think Zwerg could have picked up the kill on Nick the Panda regardless. But yeah, 2-0-0 for both mid lane and ADC for Arctic.
And it's starting to look rough for Caeli. You're already 0-1 down in the series, and even though Arctic, they are definitely a stronger team on paper, both rank-wise, both the fact that they are still yet to lose a game in Division 3, but it looked good at the beginning. Hunike is still 2-0-0, has managed to finish an Abyssal Mask at a fairly decent time. So not all is lost, but Arctic are definitely looking for that quick 2-0.
Now, I'm Your Dead looking for the Rift Herald. Tevani won't quite spot him out. If they rotate, they can actually pick up a kill and take the Rift. So I don't think they're going to see it. So it will be the Rift Herald going over to Caeli.
Yeah, Holdback will be spotted on the ward as he clears it out, but the Herald is secured, so now Caeli have got that tool to knock down an objective of their choice if they set around it well enough, because I feel like the top side of the map, despite the Caeli Morgana, yeah, I am your dead, he doesn't have the flash, he might be dead as well, he still has the paranoia, and he's gonna be able to escape until now Tevani with the flash and charm finds him. Hurricane 1 versus 3, he can try all day, he's going in for his percent advance, but it doesn't matter. The double kill from Tevani and stopwatch to dodge away from the final spark as Arctic finds 2 quick kills in the top side.
The thing is, the stopwatch wasn't for the final spark, it was for Hunike because he was solo, but unfortunately, being in the bot lane.
Oh, Nick the Panda, he's gonna get rooted at the dredge line. One last auto attack as Northflare kills Nick the Panda. And now Gorange stuck in this lane. This is now looking eerily similar to this game 1.
I think we've just hit the point where Arctic are just gonna run out of control, or get out, or become out of control. Sure, they lost 2 early kills onto Better Life, but no objectives were secured from it. There wasn't any shutdown gold. There wasn't any big thing that they got out of the kills, with the exception of the first blood. So, not much to gain there. Now, Rift Herald is available on I Am Your Dead. So, they could probably use that bot lane now that Zwerg has backed, but again, not going to be used just yet, as I Am Your Dead just going to clear his wolves.
And just looking at some of the gold differences between the players, Tevani 1,500 gold ahead, Nick the Panda over 1,000 gold behind Zwerg, that Kleptomancy, and the kills coming in huge. Just now Tevani,
You dead?
he's looking for the pick and he might be able to find it as the Ignite is down. Spirit Rush forward and Tevani is unstoppable.
So clean. Spirit Rush initially just to dodge away from the final spark, and then Spirit Rush back in. And there's just nothing I Am Your Dead can do, as this time Arctic are saying we're gonna play the find and kill comp. You guys can play team comp, but we're going find and kill.
And they will be extending that gold lead even further. Hunike in this top lane, I mean, he might have had a good start, but at this point it matters very, very little. Better Life has been able to get his items. Tevani 500 has got that Hextech GLP for the AoE slows. Zwerg is also going to dish a lot of damage. Just Hunike twisted advance forwards. He's really trying to get those trades in his favor, but
I'm Your Dead heading up in the top lane, has a paranoia available, so he's looking for that CC to start with.
Holbrook is slowed down in the river. Good cleanse and good flash. As you said, he manages to escape the danger, but now is left without any summons. Paranoia into the top lane. The slicing mushroom is going to be used. I Am Your Dead dropping so low. Better Life gets the first kill, and Hunike cannot even get him down. That's a gank turned around.
Don't gank a cannon under turret. I mean, okay, he had a broken stopwatch, so fine, I can understand why, but why would you risk that? And it's similar to last game where they're trying to find plays that aren't there instead of just waiting a bit, and Better Life is doing such a good job. Oh, mid lane.
Holbrook is gonna get engaged. The opponent Zwerg just smites him with that Mystic Shot. That's a 3-0-1 Ezreal. This guy is sitting on 1,600 gold. He can probably go for the Triforce and just try to delete people, or even a Gunblade. I mean, he can probably build whatever he likes. As long as he kills people, then Arctic are... They're just looking for the 2-0 at this point.
Built a Vampiric Scepter, so I think he might be going for the Blade of the Ruined King build. I have seen a couple of Ezreals build a Hextech Gunblade, but I doubt he'll go for that. So, but in the mid lane...
That's a binding onto Boyle, into the trap. That's a lot of chances here. The Ignite is down. Ace in the hole still available for Nick the Panda, but instead Caeli turned their sights towards that mid lane tier 1. They get at least that one objective for themselves.
Yeah, but still, it's still a 6k gold advantage for the side of Arctic and the two Drakes. And as I was mentioning before, they're playing this kind of, you know, pick and murder comp. Well, it's not, they're playing pick and murder really well, but they don't have a pick and murder comp. Sure, the Ahri can do that really well, but with Better Life on the Kennen and the Boyard on a Sejuani, it's still a team comp, still more of a team comp than Find and Slaughter.
And you can't really team fight if you are this far behind. That is the problem that Caeli are facing right now. They just don't have the items. They've got one onto Holbrook and Nick the Panda, but you've got two on their counterparts. And then you also have Better Life on top of it all, looking towards his second item.
And Zwerg with the Iceborne Gauntlet now as we got an engage in the top lane.
Yeah, good hook onto Nick the Panda as the damage just chunks him so much. The depth charge is gonna get I Am Your Dead, and Northwest survives until now as Hunike comes in with the Bramble Smash, secures the kill. He throws down the Nature's Grasp as Tevani is able to Spirit Rush away to safety. Hunike is just cut down where he stands as Zwerg is on a rampage. Holbrook next to fall. Tevani is dominating Gorge with the Permafrost, with the Charm. Boyd gets the kill, and Nick the Panda stuck all alone under this tower. Might be dove. You can't be dove if there is no tower. Tevani has the flash, but it's not needed as Arctic pick up a sub 20-minute ace.
Sorry, can I just redo what I just did? Yeah, Tevani is so clean. It's actually beautiful watching Tevani with the Spirit Rush. He's playing this so well, and I honestly think he's single-handedly carrying Arctic. I mean, not that anyone else on Arctic is playing bad, but he's just so good right now and on fire.
7-0 and 4-11 out of 15 kills he has participated in, and he is there always, as you said, just being in the front lines, getting the AoE slows at 10 stats.
Oh my god, and that's only going to be increasing. But, you know, Twin Shadows, the Hextech GLP, the Medjais. I mean, Medjai is currently giving over 70 AP, which is... It's stupid. Better Life, he's got his Zhonya's 2 items relative to Hunika's 1. And as we already mentioned, the Iceborne Gauntlet on Zwerg, who has now also picked up the Bilgewater Cutlass and Recurve Bow. So definitely going for that Blade of the Ruin King, something that you do see on Ezreal from time to time.
Yeah, he decides to go more for the consistent DPS rather than burst one-shot build, which I think makes a lot of sense considering that someone needs to kill Hunike. So he's probably the most suited for the job with the Mystic Shots damages. But yeah, at this point, we pretty much made a circle back into the game 1, where Arctic are firmly in the lead, the Baron is the next objective, Hunike and Better Life are trading in the side lane. This time Hunike though is not going to get one-shot and is actually finding a trade of his own. Twisted Advice forward, as there is the Nature's Grasp, Better Life goes golden, but Hunike might just go in for the Soul Kill, the Bramble Smash slightly too early, but the Twisted Advance into a shutdown.
Hunika being pretty big on the Maokai, and as you said before, he's going to try to win this top lane matchup by not winning yet. But no, played that really well, picked up the kill, and that's what he needs to do. And I feel like he is the win condition for Caeli at the minute, but quite engaged in the bot lane.
Yeah, Boyle already here. Tavani on his way. I want to see Caeli go in and take some wards because Hunike can buy a bit of time. He's surely going to die here. There is no real escape for him. He dodges away from the Orb of Deception, but is slowed down, charmed up, and the kill goes over to Boyle. Caeli though, what can they get on the other side of the map?
Maybe an outer turret, but the Drake's going to be going over to the side of Arctic. And something else that I want to mention is the fact that I think Tavani needs to pretty much rush Amoral and Nomicon just because of the healing that Hunika has and the shields that Holberg will be able to dish out. So I think they do need a little bit of Grievous Wounds, but after they get the Grievous Wounds, Hunika will not be a problem.
Yeah, that Maokai just will die in this front line. Especially, we already mentioned it, Zwerg is going for the Blade of the Ruin King, so dealing that bonus physical damage based on the target's current health. It will hurt any tank a lot, especially if you aren't insanely ahead. And Hunike, well, he's doing fine. He's doing extremely well in terms of playing a Maokai into a ranged matchup, but by all metrics, he is not fed.
Yeah, and you also have to remember the fact that he's about 30 CS down at the minute. And that's, of course, combined with Better Life having that Kleptomancy. Got an extra 600 gold as will Caeli collapse onto Northflare.
Just throwing down a lot of damage. Ace in the hole will be blocked by Better Life. You see, this is one of the strengths of Caeli compositions. They have the picks, however, he dashes out with the 90 caliber neck, the slows coming through as well as the true shot barrage, just dashing through the entire team. Boya will get rooted up for a very, very long time, but the Arctic Assault, here comes Hunike though, with the Righteous Glory, he's looking for the picks, depth charge through the entire team. Better Life pumps down this dicing measure, he's gonna get rooted up in place, he goes golden, the Paranoia, thrown out from Caeli, no one died just yet. Think the Pana able to pick up the first kill, but look at Arctic, just getting all the damage, all the kills, getting the ace at 24 minutes, trading it only for the Better Life, and that will be the Baron.
Yeah, and this is the kind of issue right now because Arctic, all they have to do is play front to back. As soon as they get rid of Hunika, they will delete everybody. And nobody else apart from Hunika is even remotely big. So it's just so easy for Arctic once they can get rid of Hunika. I'm Your Dead dived in with the Paranoia and then instantly died. Like, you saw him fly in and die before he even did anything. And that's just the stage we're at. And again, it's going to be really, really difficult for Caeli if they want to find any way back into this.
They have got some minimal wave. Clearly, there's not much better than it was in the game 1. And now we've got this 9-0 and 7 Ari with 24 Magi stack. 606 Zwerg's Ezreal looking for his 4th item. It is looking dire, as you have said it.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think if you are Arctic, you can probably go for a split pushing comp now with the Baron. Just put Kennen with whoever he... with maybe the Boyod in the top lane, everyone else could go mid or bot, and that's what they're doing at the minute. And again, there's just no worries because
Oh, the final spark onto Zwerg, not enough damage to get him down. The depth charge onto I Am Your Dead, but the Black Shield is there to negate a true shot. Barrage doesn't get Holbeck. That is a lot of CC onto Boyd. He's taking the tower. That was the, well, Paranoia is going to be thrown down. Boyd still alive. There is the dive into the backline, but I Am Your Dead. He's just going to drop like a fly to Vani's legendary Hunike in this backline, soaking up the damage. Like, how long he can hold it? Not long is the answer, as Better Life is going to get taken out by Nick the Panda. Gorange has to get away. Flash points from Tevani. That's a cool go to Nick the Panda under the tower as Northler picks up the kill. The carries are all down apart from Holbeck, who tries to stay alive against Boyle, but Tevani is there. He's very much questioning whether... Yeah, they are just zoning him away from defending his base. The Hextech GLP doesn't get the slows, but with the death timers at 20 seconds for Nick the Panda, Hunike still nowhere to be seen. Arctic, they are looking for the Nexus Towers. They want to continue the run through this Division 3. Holbeck just throwing out the scale shots, but it is too little, it is too late, and Arctic take the 2-0 over Caeli.
And PG, well played, Arctic. The thing is, that final fight, it wasn't even played that well. Better Life got completely caught out, as did Boyod. But Arctic were just so far ahead that it didn't matter. Zwerg already had the last Whisper available, and there's just so much damage. In fact, I think Holberg got a little bit unlucky because he almost found the pick onto, I think it was Tevani or North Flare. He just forgot to recast the E. So, for some reason, he didn't actually use the E. He threw it out, but he never actually, you know, pressed it again. So otherwise that would have been a kill, which could have changed that a bit. But again, I think Arctic just had that under control and just did whatever they wanted.
Yeah, and Arctic, they do get the 2-0. They are on 18 points in Division 3, and that does, I believe, log them in playoffs. So already at the end of week 6, Arctic are one of our playoff teams. Although the entire Division 3 is looking to shape up with a very clear divide between the top 6 and the bottom 4. You know, there is still some room, but Arctic with a dominant performance. They continue their run, and I mean, that's just the story of this game. Arctic are the team that is just looking to be one step above all the players in Division 3.
Yeah, and they are definitely the team to beat, and I guess it's really similar to last season, because instead of Koing being the mid laner to beat, it's going to be Tevani, because I'm sorry, he was absolutely insane in that mid lane. His plays were so clean on the Aerie. So clean.
Alright, well, I think that is it from us tonight. So thank you all very much for joining. If you are new to this stream, then join us on the Discord, though I would assume that all of you here probably know us very, very well. So follow us on Twitch as well if you don't already. We have a YouTube channel where all the streamed VODs from at least the primary channel should be as well. So at least check us out there. And tonight, my name has been Kachka, I have been with Milky, and our producer has been Vomen, and from all of us three, that's gonna be a good night.
Welcome to the world, no heroes and villains. Welcome to the war, we've only begun. So pick up your weapon and face it. There's blood on the ground, go and take it. You get one shot to make it out alive. So higher and higher you chase it. It's deep in your bones, go and take it. This is your moment. Now is your time, so blood, go and take it. This is your moment. Take to the skies, go. Prove yourself and rise, rise. Make them remember you. Push through hell and rise, rise. They will remember you. It is you fight among the dead beneath the dirt. Do you